Tesla opened a sales and delivery site in Alabama on tribal land to reach customers without changing state franchise rules. This is Tesla Shorts Time, episode 560. Over the past week, Grok voice commands moved from testing into the first regional rollout in Taiwan. Supervised FSD kept advancing through another incremental version with fresh test scenarios now under review. Institutional filings showed modest stake adjustments at several advisory firms holding Tesla shares. Tesla stated that Supervised FSD keeps drivers 7 times safer than the average US driver at a daily cost of about $3.33. The claim appears next to a comparison with the typical price of a cup of coffee. The post does not release the underlying dataset or the exact time period covered. Safety comparisons of this type usually draw from aggregated fleet telemetry collected across millions of miles. The pricing reference frames the feature as an everyday expense rather than a high-end option. The approach ties directly into efforts to broaden adoption through clear cost messaging. Tesla fleet data show Model 3 and Model Y battery packs retaining roughly 80% capacity after 200,000 miles. The figures come from vehicles operating in varied climates and usage patterns. Tracking will continue to check whether degradation stays linear past the current mileage mark. The information comes from real-world vehicles rather than laboratory cycle tests. This retention level supports longer ownership periods before any battery replacement would be needed. The same dataset shows degradation does not accelerate sharply after the first 100,000 miles. That pattern changes the economic case for second-life battery applications in stationary storage. If packs stay above 70% at 300,000 miles, utilities and fleet operators gain a larger pool of lower-cost units. Tesla Energy business therefore benefits from the same chemistry improvements that support vehicle longevity. Slower degradation reduces pressure on replacement battery pricing and service center workload. It also supports higher residual values in the used market, which lowers effective ownership cost for longer-term buyers. The next benchmark will be whether the same retention holds once more vehicles cross 250,000 miles. Tesla opened a sales and delivery location in Wetumpka, Alabama, on tribal land at Wind Creek, Wetumpka. The site allows direct sales inside a state that otherwise prohibits manufacturer-owned retail. The move follows years of unsuccessful attempts to change Alabama dealer franchise statutes. The location sits near the state capital and gives Alabama residents a local option for taking delivery without traveling to Georgia or Tennessee. Tesla approach uses existing tribal land rules rather than waiting for legislative reform. Teslarati received version 14.3.7 and invited follower suggestions for specific test scenarios. The account has previously documented supervised FSD behavior in varied conditions. Listeners will watch for patterns once the chosen tests are completed and shared. The version number places it in the latest supervised iteration that Tesla has been refining through incremental releases. Follow-up posts from the account often include video clips that highlight edge cases owners encounter in daily driving. Taiwanese owners report the 2026.26.1 software version is now arriving and includes new Grok voice commands. The update marks the first regional deployment of the summer feature set. The next data point will be whether the same build reaches other markets in the coming weeks. Owners in Taiwan have shared early impressions of the Grok integration through voice prompts that handle navigation and media controls. The phased rollout allows Tesla to monitor server load and user feedback before wider distribution. Tesla lengthened the Cybertruck power conversion system warranty to 8 years and began reimbursing owners who previously paid for replacements. The change applies retroactively to earlier repairs. Owners will monitor whether similar extended coverage appears on other high-voltage components. The power conversion system handles critical electrical functions in the vehicle. Extending the warranty reduces out-of-pocket costs for early adopters who encountered issues. Tesla committed to purchasing the full output of a Texas solar installation while constructing its own larger solar manufacturing site. The arrangement secures immediate renewable supply for operations during the factory build-out. The deal illustrates how Tesla energy procurement now directly supports its own manufacturing timeline. Securing every kilowatt hour from the existing farm reduces reliance on grid power while the new facility ramps up. This approach aligns Tesla Energy Division with its vehicle and compute expansion plans in the same region. Flagship Wealth Advisors sold 7,112 Tesla shares according to the latest filing. The transaction appears in routine 13F reporting and reflects a modest position adjustment rather than a full exit. The sale size suggests it was part of normal portfolio rebalancing rather than a reaction to any single event. Institutional filings like this provide a window into how smaller advisory firms manage their Tesla exposure over time. SpaceX will report second quarter numbers after market close on August 4th. Management will host an audio webcast streamed on X with no dial-in option. The release marks the first time investors outside the company can review detailed financials post-IPO. The webcast format keeps the focus on the numbers rather than a traditional earnings call with analyst questions. Musk's net worth declined sharply with Tesla and SpaceX valuation shifts reported at $684 billion. The change tracks recent movements in both companies' private market valuations. The figure illustrates how closely Musk's personal wealth remains tied to the performance of the two firms. Large swings in net worth often coincide with funding rounds or valuation resets at private companies. An owner reported that a Model Y parked at the Twin Falls, Idaho supercharger was struck by gunfire with visible damage to the windshield. The Post notes uncertainty about whether anyone was inside the vehicle at the time. Owners discussed aftermarket options for quicker departure from charging sites. The incident highlights a rare but serious safety concern at public charging locations. Tesla has not issued a statement on additional security measures at the site. The Canadian government allocated 10.9 million CAD toward new public chargers and related workforce training programs. The funding targets both urban corridors and rural routes. Deployment timelines and site selection criteria will determine how quickly the new infrastructure becomes available to Tesla drivers. Training components aim to build local expertise for installation and maintenance. The investment adds to existing federal and provincial efforts to expand the charging network. An 84-year-old driver completed a coast-to-coast journey in a Tesla from California to the Arctic Ocean. The trip set a new record for age on that specific route. The vehicle completed the drive using standard charging infrastructure along the way. The journey demonstrates the practical range and charging support available for long-distance travel in current Tesla models. No special modifications to the vehicle were reported. Tata and Mahindra vehicles ranked ahead of Tesla models in a recent energy efficiency comparison of electric cars. The ranking measured watt-hours per kilometer across standardized test cycles. Tesla position in future iterations will depend on software and hardware updates that affect consumption. Efficiency rankings can shift with each new model year or software release. The result highlights competitive pressure in global markets where consumption metrics influence buyer decisions. A visitor to the Peterson Automotive Museum described the Tesla Roadster on display as more striking in person than in photos or videos. The owner noted the vehicle's sleek proportions and overall presence. The car remains a pre-production example shown for public viewing. Museum displays like this give potential buyers a tangible sense of the design before production begins. The Roadster continues to generate interest even years after its initial unveiling. Before we go, the next updates to watch are how the Taiwan Grok voice rollout expands and whether similar warranty extensions appear on other Cybertruck components. That covers it for today's Tesla developments. TSLA closed at $311.21, up $2.36, 0.8%. Share this episode with a fellow Tesla enthusiast if you found it useful, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's episode. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for being here. Quick tip from the network. Try environmental intelligence next. The Environment and Climate Policy Brief for Canada. Every NARA Network show is free at naranetwork.com. And on the website, every episode's visuals live in our free image gallery at narrownetwork.com gallery. Royalty-free under Creative Commons, download with attribution. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.